Welcome to the DooDoo Diva Smells Like Money podcast. I'm your host, Suzan Chin-Taylor, CEO and founder of Creative Raven, the firm that helps wastewater industry contractors and manufacturers unlock the power of digital marketing, AI, and PR to boost sales and opportunities. Whether it's through our online marketing and lead generation programs or providing a fully outsourced marketing department, we are passionate about helping businesses in the wastewater and civil infrastructure sectors not just survive, but thrive in today's digital world. Each episode, I'll be bringing you expert tips and strategies to help you grow and succeed. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DooDoo Diva Smells Like Money podcast. Today, we are visiting with a really interesting guest. I'm going to let her tell her backstory on this, but we're going to be talking about unique online courses for project management and cybersecurity as it relates to the wastewater industry. And so I want to welcome to the show, Farokh. I'm going to butcher this. I know I am. Farokh Kakar. And she is the founder of the Blue College. But she also has the distinction of being an engineer. And so with that, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Susan. And hello, everyone. I'm honored to be on this podcast and happy to share more about my journey and what we do at Blue College. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So to just, put this all in perspective, one of the things that, I really want you to share is your journey here. I don't want to tell your story for you, but, she is I hate the word refugee because it has kind of almost a victim sound to it, but I guess it's a perfect word from the wars in Afghanistan. And when the Taliban entered. And we don't need a history lesson. We don't need a political lesson. But we know that in that country, under that regime, life could be very difficult for women, and especially an educated woman like Farokh. So share with us your journey from those days to where you are now, because it's an amazing story of resilience and tenacity and how you were truly able to take a bad situation and you've really reinvented yourself as a professional in the industry in Canada and have just, it's just an inspiration that you, no matter what, you took those God-given talents and you turned them to the good. And so please share with us, just a brief on, your amazing journey to where you are now. And then we're going to talk about what made you decide to found the Blue College.
Sure. Thanks, Susan. First of all, I'm a perceptive person. So I see opportunity in everything rather than challenge. And when you say refugee, you don't like it. I actually like it a lot.
Really?
Because I feel like refugee gave me the opportunity to cross borders, to see different lives. Otherwise, I would be sitting in my comfort zone, right? Like so many people who just lives in the same country and don't get to explore two different sides of the world. And I'm like, that's okay. Yes, I'm a refugee with proud. I was a refugee and I saw opportunity in it because that made me who I am now. That become part of my identity. So totally not offensive for me.
Okay.
I own it. Indeed, we were refugee when I was 1 year old. I was born to be a refugee.
Okay.
So, sorry. I was 1 year old when we become refugees in Iran, and my story started then when we didn't have the permission to go to school as refugees in Iran, and when my mom took me to a school, the principal was like, isn't it such a waste that these kids, it was me and my sister, they don't go to school? So they were like, I'll allow your children to sit in the class, but when authorities come, they have to hide or not come to the school.
Wow.
So they can just have the education. That's how I got my education. Otherwise, I wouldn't be an engineer now if I didn't have my elementary school there. Wow. So I graduated without having documents, just sitting in the class and learning whatever I had to in the elementary and when I was back in Iran. And then fast forward, I was 13 when we went back to Afghanistan. And then I did my undergrad in mining engineering there and started life. Life was established. I was on top of my class, and then I become a professor there back home in Afghanistan and vice dean, and then had my own company. Everything was set up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna build this country and do this and that, and had a lot of goals and dreams and hopes. But then, boom,
Yes.
I have a big mouth. I talked and I spoke up because it was a well, I'm not going to go to details, but a lot of people might already know about the stories of how women are there. And I was the only female engineer in my department at that time. And it was
Mm.
tough being an engineer and practicing and fitting into male-dominated environment in a country like Afghanistan. Although we have similar environments here in Canada as well, but still it was much more difficult there. But anyhow, so I had to then come to Canada after that with an incident that happened that I opened my mouth and I had to talk when I see injustice for women. And then when I came to Canada, I was pregnant and I had to leave my two children back home with my husband, with my mom and whole family and work and everything and start from zero.
Wow.
When I came to Canada, I didn't have any single friend. I didn't know anyone and I didn't have any family. And I was pregnant on my own, 3 months pregnant. And I was like, okay, now what? Gotta start everything from zero. Thank goodness I knew how to speak English. That was the only advantage that I had. Plus, I could speak 7 other languages. That
Wow.
really gave me
Yeah,
a
I bet.
privilege. So day one, I started volunteering as a translator for other newcomers. I would take them to their doctor appointment, to their lawyer appointment, to courts, and here and there, and with that, I got to learn about the environment and culture and everything so fast. And right away, I knew that I'm going to go back to my engineering again. And then I started my master's. When I went to get admission, first I have been bumped into two challenges. First, they were like, "Oh, you have a degree from Afghanistan? We don't recognize that. Sorry, you
Yeah.
gotta get evaluation." I went to get evaluation. They didn't recognize it as well. They were like, "Oh, we can't do evaluation from Afghanistan." I was like, "Okay, so what? Should I throw it in the garbage? What should I do? Okay, come and test me or do whatever you want to do." So, anyways, I fight it and I went to the vice dean's office for the university, Rice University at that time. And I still remember my argument, a lot of emails back and forth. And it was like, listen, I'm coming from Afghanistan. And yes, I realize that you can't communicate back home with that university, but you got to give me admission. So, longest story short, they said yes, and they evaluated my degree themselves. And then here comes the challenge of TOEFL. And I didn't have money at that time to take the TOEFL test because it costed $6,000 to take the course and then a few hundred to take the test. So I sat at home. I forced my roommates to study with me every night so I can prepare for my TOEFL. And in 2 months, I prepared for it. I took the test, I met the requirement, and I started my master. Why is it this story? Because I get a lot of my friends and people in my network who says that, oh, I don't have the money, or I don't know the language is this and that. And I'm like, if you want to do it, you can do it regardless.
Mm.
So, anyways, I did my master, finished my master, and then started my PhD, started teaching again, become professor at George Brown College. And then during my PhD, I got mastered about how things work in North America. And I got the most prestigious scholarship in Canada called Veneer, which is given based on leadership and academic excellence. I finished my PhD in 2.5 years, setting a record in our university with 13 publications and a patent. And the patent that I had, and the company that hired me after, they hired me to actually take that technology to the next level, pilot it, and then introduce it to the market afterwards. And at the same time, when I got hired for this company, right after my PhD, I started Blue College of Water and Technology because I knew that this is my passion and this is what I want to do in life. So that was in a nutshell my story, Suzanne.
Okay, thank you so much. So, for our listeners to understand, you started this online college, Blue College of Water and Technology, and it has really two focuses right now. But I'm sure just in listening to you and in our few conversations that we've had, no grass grows under this woman's feet. So, I'm sure there's going to be other things that are going to be added on as far as curriculum. But for right now, the two focuses that she led with are cybersecurity and project management. So we're going to be breaking our talk with this lovely lady, Farokh, into two segments. And first, we're going to tackle cybersecurity. But first, I want to know, you said it was your passion. So it's an online college that offers these courses in these two curriculums that then give you very special skills that become marketable to your marketplace, and they can be used globally. So the first that I want to focus on is cybersecurity. And there's a lot of talk, and a lot of controversy. Do we need it? Is it really a threat? Is it real? Do we have to worry? And basically the answer is yes. And there's a lot of things, when we talked offline about having you come on the show, there were so many things surrounding what people need to know through these training and these online courses that they're either taking for granted or didn't even know these threats existed. And so with that, share with us your thoughts on the subject, why this is so important within the water and the wastewater industry segment, especially in terms of public utilities, that people need to be aware of, and why it's important that you send at least one person to your organization to get some type of training like this.
For sure. Thank you so much, Susan, for that. And first of all, the college is hybrid. We have a campus in Toronto, and the only thing is that if you're in Toronto, you can study in there.
Right.
Because, we Canadians were like, so sometimes our temper goes highs and then sometimes goes low. So this time it's a little high. We're like, just few international students, not a lot. So we have a cap. So for a lot of our students to be online. So you nailed that part for sure. But if you're in Toronto, you can come in person. And in terms of cybersecurity, so the college, when I started the college, I knew that there is no such college that focuses on water. And being a water professional, I knew the demand that we have so much gap in this industry to be filled, and cybersecurity being one of them. And as you mentioned, it's so crucial in our industry, in water industry, wastewater industry, to protect data, to protect our systems, and that is so relied on day-to-day routines and day-to-day things that we do. For example, utilities. If they get attacked, oh boy, God knows what's going to happen. Are you going to have water in your tap? I don't know about that. Can you flash that toilet? Oh God, you don't want to even imagine that.
Right.
No, what can happen if things get messed up? And nowadays, cyber attacks are real more than any time. Even the worst. I don't want to go politics, but cyber attacks in country levels, they're one of the biggest concerns of any country. And it attacks the health system, the water system, what is crucial for the public the most. And in water and wastewater industry, I don't know if everybody knows about it or not. We have specific positions for people who have this skill set to understand how to protect data, how to detect attacks, how to detect and how to understand how to secure our network, secure our data, secure our the procedures. And not only that, but there's that is required everywhere on every aspect. And it's something emerging and not that old. It's very new. And that's why we need a lot of demand in this sector. So with that in mind, I started with cybersecurity program to make sure that we trained the water professionals even who needs a twist in their career, who needs something different to be able to have that and still serve in the industry in meaningful ways.
Yes, and when you were saying about cybersecurity, and that having that skill set and having at least one person on your team, is that when it goes beyond, I think the data and the operations is that, when you're saying it's emerging, if you think about it, you think about viruses, you think about these people that hack computer systems, hack websites, and they're not getting any monetary gain out of it. They're just doing it for the thrill of the fact that I could do it. I could actually do it. And if anybody read the series, what was it, the girl with the dragon tattoo, that talked about these hackers that are in these little basements that can get into anybody's system and actually wreak havoc. Yeah, it was a fictional book, but maybe in some way it's not. And the hackers are constantly improving. Just as we put up one block, that's almost like a slap in the face for them. It's like we're throwing down the gauntlet and they're saying, oh, really? Well, watch this. And then they're going to figure out how to do the next thing. So it almost seems like when we learn these things, we're constantly having to improve our skills to be able to be ready for the next attack, to almost be one step ahead of that hacker. And that's kind of scary.
Absolutely.
That's kind
It
of
is.
scary.
I agree, Susan. And that we have a saying, my grandma used to say that thieves are always one step ahead of police. So we're kind of in the same situation. And with our cybersecurity program, I had this and in mind, and I was like, you know what, we have to be ahead of them, right? And what we're lacking in our education system in North America is being up to date, especially in such an environment that with emerging topics such as cybersecurity. When even I used to teach and I used to study,
right?
I would see my presentations and curriculum from like 10 years ago that I got approval from ministry, and then I was like, why are we not making this again? And they were like, okay, it's going to take time and it's got to go through a lot of things and this and that. I was like, okay, this got to change. So another aspect of starting Blue College was to make sure that I am starting a college that can get the curriculums updated frequently and in a different way. Because I'm not sure if everybody is aware of this or not. Blue College is one of the first colleges that is registered as a hybrid college. Because other colleges were registered as in person, and then because of the fact that COVID came and for the needs, they started the virtual and teaching virtual. But the Ministry of Universities of Colleges in Canada didn't have a procedure for registering online colleges until few folks like myself, and me being one of them, came and said, oh, we want to start something like that, and having different rules and different things because we need to be more up to date. So that's another distinguisher that I wanted to be up to date. I didn't want it to teach 10 years ago the material. Now it doesn't make sense, and when we're evolving so quickly,
right, especially in this field. And so I was really amazed by how deep the curriculum is. So for those of you tuning in, I really encourage you to go visit the website to learn more about this curriculum, because I think that it is something that, utilities should think about investing in. It also could be something very interesting. We talk about in our industry a lot that we have the silver tsunami and we're trying to recruit, young people. And, young people are very fascinated by technology and computers and all the hip things and the latest, that perhaps having a position within an agency that is responsible for these types of things like cybersecurity, and they go to these types of classes like the Blue College is offering, that could be an enticement for a career for a young person that sees, oh, my perception of what it's like to work in a water or wastewater utility. Oh, you mean I'd be working with data and cybersecurity and all this new stuff that's out there on the internet? Wow, that's kind of cool. So I'm throwing that out there for people to think about that. There might be an interesting angle to this or benefit that you may not have thought about just beyond keeping your own system safe, that you could use it as a recruitment tool. Just saying, just thinking. So, how can people learn more about what you have to offer? And we are going to talk about project management, which is the second half in our following episode. But how can people learn more about what the college offers?
For sure. Thanks, Susan. So you can go to our website, which is super easy to type. Blue College, like literally the color blue, and I'm wearing. I love it. So
Yes.
BLUECOLLEGE.ca. Did I spell that right? Maybe.
Yeah. Yes, I think you may have. I think you may have.
Okay. So
Right.
that's our website. All the information can be found there. We do also provide scholarships for outstanding students who shows leadership in the tech industry and water industry to be able to accommodate more students to add our.
What I think makes it really different is that you can go to cybersecurity classes. There's lots of stuff out there for it, but yours is really geared towards this industry and the specific needs of water professionals, which I think really is the thing that sets it apart and why I felt it was so important to make, our listeners in our industry aware of this. And I would also, for those of you listening to, connect with Farokh online on LinkedIn, because she has a podcast. She is a wealth of knowledge. She posts really interesting and cool stuff. And at the very least, she's just a neat lady to connect with. And so I'm so glad that we met through LinkedIn on that. And so I'm really looking forward to connecting, continuing this connection, continuing our conversation on the next episode about project management skills and what all that means for people in the industry. So thank you again for joining us, sharing your story, sharing what you're bringing to the industry. I really, really appreciate. And thank you, listeners, for sharing your valuable time with us. And until next time, keep it flowing. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you're ready to take your marketing to the next level and start increasing sales and opportunities for your business, reach out to us at Creative Raven. We're here to help you thrive in the digital landscape. Visit creativeraven.com or click the link in the show notes below to schedule a call and learn how we can support your growth. If you enjoyed the insights on today's episode, be sure to hit subscribe so you'll never miss an update. Until next time, keep growing and keep it flowing.